almost all over the country, maybe even all over the world. So maybe the reports we heard about the internet going down were good, but just late. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it looks like that's down too. We'll see if she hops back in here. But yeah, it's really strange that we're having some issues. Let me see if I'm coming up over here. Oh, see, it looks like I'm not even online over there. But I can see I'm broadcasting, so I will continue on. But yeah, I think a lot of times you can think, I don't want to have this sort of ego mentality that, I'm the star. But you are. You're really the star of your own journey here. And to take up that role, and, we are just as important as, we put on ourselves, I think. And so to realize that we are important no matter what we're doing in this time that we're in. And so I think it's super important that we don't humble ourselves to the point of being inactive, if you will. Okay. Looked like only 11 people were left. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it went down for a second, guys, but let me look here and see if I can... She put oops. Maybe the dog's unplugged it or something. Let me try to call her up again. Oh, she says I disappeared for her. There we go. Can you hear me okay? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was weird.
Yeah, I noticed my internet went off,
Yeah.
but it my laptop jumped to my phone hotspot. I had it on as a backup, so I never
Just
lost the
lost.
broadcast. We're still rolling.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Because I just jumped over. I figured because your internet went off before.
Yeah, and it just
And
went
then
black for you. So
yeah, the call just dropped. Just dropped the call. Okay.
I
But
like
we're
that.
good.
I like that. Oops.
Oops. My
When you said
famous,
that,
my famous last words.
yeah, when you said that, I was thinking, wait a minute, did the dog unplug the cord or something?
No, no, we were all sitting here chatting with you, and yeah, the call just dropped. So I figured your internet shut off again.
Right now, it had
And what
actually
was
shut
it,
off
like
a
right at
couple,
3:55?
yeah, a couple of minutes before that, it had gone off. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, it's been doing weird things. Like I messaged you the other day. I'm like, what's going wrong with Mr. MBB's website?
yep, his site went down.
I couldn't pull the Schumann app.
The
It
Schumann
was
went
saying
down.
wouldn't show me the Schumann, and then his website was disappeared for a while, but then
Yeah,
it came back, and you had the same problem. So I'm glad I checked in with you, so I knew
yeah.
it
So
wasn't just
it wasn't like
mine.
a local problem.
Yeah.
So that's what's
This is
weird
why I
about
always
it.
check in. I always check everything. I always check
Yeah,
in with Shane first. What's going on? Have you got this?
that's that troubleshooting part of me. I'm like, all right, if other
Yeah,
people are having this problem, it's not on
that's
my
right.
computer. And you
That's
were
right.
having it in a different
Our,
country, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So, and the funny thing is, when my internet went down earlier, I'm thinking, well, maybe they're working on the internet in my area or something along those lines. But uh, I went outside. It didn't look like they were working on it. And then I checked my phone. I'm like, well, I might have to do it from my hotspot. And my phone internet was off. Now, my phone internet is it's through the cell tower. So it's not even through my regular internet. So
Well, when we
both
look at the
internets went
Schumann,
down.
I don't
You know?
think it's surprising. When you look at the Schumann over the last few days, Aluna said too, like these interruptions are going to get more. I think they are going to continue and get worse. So just, don't be surprised. If you find yourself getting too frustrated with tech that's glitching and not working, go
Yeah.
meditate for a bit, take a
Yeah.
break. Yeah, because it'll frustrate you and you won't realize it'll catch you in it. So it's just,
Yeah. Because we're
it's going to
being
get more
blasted
glitchy.
over and over again, pulses and blasts
Hmm.
and At the bottom here,
Yeah.
you see these are ours. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but these are ours. This is the one in Russia, of course. And so yeah, there's definitely some activity going on.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention too, I made sure I thought of it last night because it keeps coming up. It's this speeding up of the time, like the one day is running into another. I'm really feeling that escalating still. That is not slowing down or plateauing by any means. It's really becoming a blur. It seems to me to be going very quickly now. Um,
Oh yeah, and
you know,
David's bringing up the fact that all the planets are we're sharing the same,
yeah, 180.
yeah, 180
Mm-hmm.
degrees of the sun. So if you imagine the
Yeah,
sun is a clock and the dial in the middle, it's like all of the planets are on one half of the pie right now, basically. So Earth, the moon, of course, because it's right around Earth, and then all of the planets are all on one half of the sun right now, which
yeah,
has to be pulling gravitationally, and there's just weird stuff going on with that for sure.
for sure. Well, I think there has to be push and pulls, but then the other aspect as well is that what is being drawn into us, what is coming in for our galactic center as far as this light energy goes. Because we know it hit. Um, Back in March, and it's just continuing. It's like touching the tip of the cloud, right? It's like a cloud of energy coming in, and it's just getting thicker and stronger uh, the more time progresses. And I think that is what we're feeling too. So that causes the push and pull as well. Um, as far as what's going on with the planets and the energies, and because I don't think it's just the push and pull within um, our little solar system. It's where our solar system is now going and what's coming into us in that energy, as in the cosmic rays and different photons and electrons that we be receiving now, um, are affecting us in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
So this I feel like this energy that's coming in and that alignment, just like we discussed in the summer, it is key as far as timing. Today, and I have to say, October 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's I anticipate a lot of energy. I think there's alignments in place today. Um, I know Aluna talked about it before, and she'd done a graph too, and I believe it was dated the 30th. But this time now is just so strong, and going into the first week of November and going up into the 11th, um, I feel like that exponential tightening of the cycles that is causing the time to speed, like one day is into the next. And I see like the yearly cycles. That's why, the same time or same date, we can have the same kind of experience. These are the cycles that we revolve around, but they're getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until it just goes pop. And that's what we're coming in closer to, I feel. And that is where linear time disintegrates entirely. How we're going to experience that, I don't think we can understand fully until we actually experience it. So I couldn't tell you what, but it's definitely an experience. That cycle is coming in, and it's going to close, and it's going to pop us up into higher vortexes and higher cycles. So of learning and expansion.
Yeah, I was recently even thinking about the whole thing with, a lot of times people think of the Mandela effect as being, timelines merging. And I was almost seeing it as being, you could view it as being like they're splitting rather than combining. And then, that thought came to me because, the one example I always use of the thinker statue with all the
Mm-hmm.
students around it posing the way it used to look, but now it's different, and you can see how they were at one point like posing one way, but the statue changed. You can see that instead of merging as being a splitting, and then
Yeah.
that takes me back to Dolores Cannon talking about the two Earths splitting and pulling apart or whatever. So you know she showed that, and it looked like a quick pop sort of a event, but on the cosmic scale, a decade would be a pop. You know what I mean?
Well, nothing is really truly instantaneous.
Right. Yeah.
If you go down to milliseconds, nothing is instantaneous. So
Right.
it's only merely a perspective, an aspect of perspective, and this is why it's hard to align the two. And it's taking like a size perspective of an ant to a man, and put that in the concept of time. So what is a millisecond to an ant? Is that an hour? I
Yeah.
So it's really the same kind of thing. So there is no instantaneous moment,
Yeah.
but we have been fed the desire for instant gratification,
Yeah.
and being trained for that. So you are always waiting for the moment, the instantaneous moment when everything changes. Now we do have those moments in our lives, I think, where we conceptually, the world around us stops for a moment and our whole world gets flipped upside down. But it's not instantaneous.
Right.
It's only perspective. What is a millisecond, an hour, a year, or a light year?
Right. I've often thought that too, like for a fly, the way they're able to maneuver so fast. And I think about, on Spider-Man, you remember how he would be doing things and time for him would be
Mm.
like normal time, but everything else would be moving really slowly around him. And it's like that same thing where it's like, you know, with a tree, you can imagine that, a tree lives, decades, but it might seem
Perfect.
like a few years for the tree from its
What
perspective.
is the consciousness of the tree? Yeah, like I remember years ago, I think when I was a kid, it was a mayfly. There was one bug that it lives for one day. It only lives for one day. And I remember being young and thinking, how sad. How sad it, like, is it going through that entire day going, oh shit.
Right.
Like, I better get stuff done, man.
But it might be like,
I've only got a
it
day.
might be decades from its perspective, you know?
But that's its lifetime. So what is its perspective? But that's the funny thing. Yeah,
So we
it's
have
the
no
same thing
idea.
as I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have
you
no
have no
idea.
idea what is
Or a rock, like Frank's saying, a rock, yeah. A rock, because that would
yeah.
be pretty boring if a rock was on our time and they're sitting there tumbling down and
Yeah, you think you're
sit,
bored.
right.
I always thought before too, when I would listen to people's hypnosis sessions and they're a rock, and I was like, oh man, that seems like jail time.
Yeah, it does. Like, come
Right?
on, kid, pick me up and
But
throw me already.
it's not for, it's not, right. I don't
Yeah.
think for the
Throw me in
rock,
the ocean or something. I need some scenery
yeah,
change
it's
here.
because we're coming at everything from the perspective of linear time, of our lens
Yeah.
of linear time. And really this connection into our higher selves and higher consciousness is us starting to grasp, like, the illusions of time fading away, so you're starting to see the larger perspective. And it does start with something so simple as understanding that what is the difference between a mayfly's one day of existence, and mine. And those questions are what opens your mind away from definitive textbook answers that we've been taught into conceptualizing higher quantum ideas of conscious existence, and that it can exist without time.
Yeah, and Susa's saying, what about time's perspective of time? You know what I mean?
It's
So,
very one-minded. It's
right.
very linear.
Yeah.
It's very 2D. Yeah, yeah.
And I've seen some
So
pretty weird things happening with the time, like just the
that's what
seconds
I'm
on the
saying.
clock speeding up and then seeming like they did before. And then it's like, and when you think about how everything is based on the second and the time, like even like, the
Yeah.
Schumann, that's 20 or what, that's 7.8 cycles, 7.83 cycles per second, So that's when you think of it like that, it's like, wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, it's like the hertz of if the time speeds up, then it could appear like the Schumann doesn't speed up or change. But if it's stuck with time, then it did increase as
So
time
there's your
increased.
two worlds breaking away. Yet another
Yeah,
example. And it's a refraction that shows the truth in all things,
right.
right? And it's a domino effect.
Yeah,
So if you take the restrictions, if you take the lid off of the box, you know, and you're going to have a domino effect of ideas
yeah,
that spread and spread and spread. That's when we get stuck in these rabbit holes
yeah,
too, because the expansion of the mind when you take the lid off the box is you can go anywhere you want to go, and one truth can be truth on multiple levels. And when it's like taking the lid off of one box of truth, and then
right.
oh, so that can affect this and that can affect that,
Yeah,
and so on and so on and so on. It's a fun journey, a never ending Christmas morning, I think, that we're going into, of opening these presents of higher consciousness and understanding of what we really are, what we're really capable of, and the expansion of your mind and how everything works. And
yeah,
even that, once you know, you don't know. Once you think you know, you don't know. So we're right. So it's constantly expanding. So you want to be constantly opening your arms, really, to release ideas out, but then allowing new ideas to come in, and it's just this constant, process again. So it's a perfect moment of now that the arms are always open for both receiving and giving.
yeah. Being
And
open-minded is so key to this whole process because,
mm-hmm.
when you look at science and just pretty much every theory out there, no one really knows. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you how the sun works, but they really have no idea. They're just
Yeah.
guessing. And the more you're open-minded about how things can change or be different than you've been taught,
Yeah.
the more teachable we are, the more we can learn and not miss the truth if it comes our way because we think we figured it out because we're trusting someone who's guessing about something. And that goes
Yeah.
along with, religion, politics, science, pretty much any aspect of life. You know what I mean? Even our very reality that we think we figured out, the Mandela effect comes along, and it's like,
Takes the rug out. Oh, you
haven't
thought you
figured this
knew?
out. Yeah,
No, you don't know, silly. Right?
right.
We're little kids, but yeah, I think that's so important in this process. I had something wicked awesome I was gonna say.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Ah, shoot. I'll get it back. I'll get it back. I had this picture going in my head, and then.
So, any dreams that you haven't talked about?
Well, I did talk about that, everyone. So I'm finding I'm having a conversation with myself now.
In your dream state?
Yeah, I think it's the connection to the higher self. Because but before, when I'd go in and I feel like we're trained, when I talked a few months ago, it was trying to retrieve the ideas and bring them back over. So I had an awareness of being instructed, right? Voice outside of myself having a conversation with me, showing me things. Almost like I would get like a slideshow even at times, or a demonstration. Like, we'll take a look at this scenario and then we're going to come back and we're going to look at it. And I would be being explained things. And these ideas were repeated to, I think, be imprinted. And I was going through this conversation process of being, okay, so let me make sure I've got this straight. Right. And this is where the frustration was in, because I would, as my intention every night to bring this information, back through, I continued to set that intention. It was a realization that I was in the dreams going, okay, I've got it. This, and this, I'm going to remember it. Right. And even trying to bring it back out, and I would come back out and it would be sifting through the finger. Okay, no, wait, go back. Okay, I've got it. Okay, it's this, and this. Yes, I've got it. And then back out I try to go. And it just would not hold. And we discussed the fact that, those are those blocks of knowing. And I think information that just can't translate in the current reality that we're at the time. Now, what I've noticed now over the last week is the difference in this conversation. So this conversation is, I did experience a period of time. So it seemed like I left that training for a little bit and went more into the group work again. Right? We talked about it last week, where I was feeling like I was working with my 6 people, doing some things, meeting up, going at a distance, connecting with another half dozen group, and doing those things. So there was, missions, tactical practicing with other groups. Then lately, the week before, it had been really seeming like we're closing up shop locations in one area, packing things up, moving things through sort of train, not our reality, but a means of transportation, fourth dimensional, to meet up with other groups. What has progressed now over the last week is that I am back into just instructional conversation, like slideshows again. Not participating in actual storylines and going out and doing these things, but it's like I'm back in having conversations. What has changed is the conversations are no longer a voice that was different than myself. The voice is now me. And this is where I think it's that higher self really coming in, and the opening up of our connection, our communication abilities to our fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional self. And I believe that is really what is happening now, because I'm having those same kinds of conversations, but it is a stronger power, very sovereign wisdom voice of me trying to imprint and having that same conversation. So do you remember this? Okay, so this goes with this. You remember that? And then I'm coming out and doing it. And I'm going back in and out and talking about things. It's hard to do the specifics.
So it's again, like you're grabbing little nuggets of truth and trying to bring it back over into the conscious world.
Yeah, like a couple days ago. They're
slipping through your hands like sand.
Well, they were telling me something about YouTube. It was telling me something about YouTube, something about you want to look at this and this, but be aware of this and this. Like, it was getting very specific, and I was aware of YouTube. But what I think, though, is I'm in trust that I'm not forgetting this information, whether or not it's just kind of like the hypnosis. When I came out of hypnosis sessions, it was like, I thought I remembered everything, but within half an hour, realized I did not remember the majority of it. It's kind of the same thing, but the fact is the information is still there. So just like, you've mentioned before, where you get this great joke in your head and you think it's yours and you're so funny and you tell it. Well, I think what's happening is that information that I am receiving, it's not lost to me. It's just, it just easily flows up at the ready when it's time, when that certain situation comes up. My intuition is grounded in that sovereignty and in that voice. I'm recognizing that voice so clearly now, and it is my voice now, right? That I'm feeling within here. This is a huge activation area right now, and that has been, for the last couple months. But this is really about what this time in this latter half of this year about is the sovereignty and speaking the sovereignty. People speaking with their authenticity without fear of giving and receiving love, without fear of being judged anymore, of being and expressing that. And we're seeing that everywhere. So I've dealt with a lot of physical symptoms, picking up with this last wave that we saw over the weekend, going into it with a lot of pressure and expansion again in the upper area and the wing sprouting area, right? Back up in here. It's not the lower back. I'm feeling a lot of, and again, we're all at different ages, like different stages and tweaking different things, right? We're all at different processes. So, and I've gone back and forth. It's like tweaking that bodice when we're doing the chakras. it's you think that's all done, but you may go back to it again, and it's tweaking up and down. So we're all at different stages, but
Needing different integrations and stuff too.
yeah, and
Depending
it's
on our
affecting
life
us.
and previous
Yeah,
lives and traumas we've been through. We
yeah.
might need more area in one part that might give you more headaches. Maybe another area
Hmm.
that gives you need more sleep or whatever.
Yes.
So there's really no telling. So when we bring up these symptoms like this, it's really just to say, oh, I'm dealing with that too, or not. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
But you know what? I always just like to let you guys know as specifically as possible what I'm feeling too, especially when we can get down to the days and we see like when we're able to put together so much information now. That's the wonderful thing. When we started this and talking about the wave energy and everything, the amount of adverse comments we would get about hokey this and that. But, as we've
They've all
gone
been
over the
banned.
course of this, yeah.
They're all in the band box or whatever.
Yeah,
If they're rude,
yeah.
I don't
It's
care
a
if they
great
don't
thing about
agree,
having
but
your own channel.
yeah.
Guess what? It's my world. You don't have to be here if you don't want to. That's okay. Um, but yeah, totally lost it. Thanks. That's okay. Good.
But yeah, like Bella's saying about not remembering, she's saying that it'll show up when you need it, and I believe
It
that's
does.
true. The information
Yes.
is there, just like we just regular dreams. If we wake up and we're like, I don't need to write it down, I remember it, and then you don't write it down and you forget it, so. But
Mm-hmm.
when something comes up, you're reminded of. You're like, oh yeah, I had a dream about this, and so
Yeah, I just like to remember too, like, so many times we can set intentions for ourselves, and then it's hard to follow through. Especially, with the way that we're feeling about time right now, we can forget what day it even is. Like, time flies by. So I want to reassure you all as well too. Don't be hard on yourself when it's like, oh, I forgot to write it down, or oh, I didn't meditate for an hour. Oh, listen, it's all divine timing, and even some of the things you may think were adversely done, it's actually to a benefit. So just let it all go. Just constantly what is it right now? What is it right now that your body needs? What is it right now that you're being called to think about or do? And just process it at that time. And trying to listen to those things. And that's it. This is a self-navigating journey, right? And I wanted to mention too, in this road of expansion and growing, the easiest way to know when you hit a speed bump in your growth is just a trigger. And it's just, to not let the trigger you too. Don't be triggered about being triggered. Recognize that it's just a sign. It's a speed bump. Oh, trigger. Oh, wait, back it up. It's not about the other person. It's not about the other situation. Just take a look at your reaction, right? And where it's coming from. We can receive emotional feelings about things, but triggers are your way to assess your journey, not somebody else's, right? They're your speed bumps, not somebody else's. And they really just are a tool. So try to drop as much shame or guilt or judgment or any of those things on yourself as well as others about your process and how it's coming along, or other people's process and how it's coming along. Because it can shift almost in an instant, never in an instant, but almost in an instant, right? So it's constantly progressing. The triggers are just about you for your own work and your own guidance. And if you can take the judgment off yourself in the trigger process too, and again, sort of take a step back and look from it, you will progress so much more quickly and with so much more ease. Just release and expand, release, expand.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so much hidden esoteric knowledge within everything. Like you think of Satan, he's the accuser or the adversary,
Great deceiver,
right? Satan, right? And people come and it's like, it feels like you're being attacked by the devil sometimes, even if they're actually calling you Satan and stuff. You know what I mean? But
look at Hillary. It's projection is one of her best tactics.
Right. Well, you think of, just in general, it's like they're the secret shoppers is how I like to think of them. And are you going to let them? It's like, when you view people don't like it when I say I view life like a game, but by doing that, you take the fear out of it. I'm not afraid of death. Just like in a game, you'll respawn or whatever if you die. So, you're not really fearful in a game when you're playing it. You want to win. You don't want to die in the game or whatever. But at the heart of it, that's really not the end
It
if you
doesn't
do
end it
die.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you do that and you have this much more lighthearted approach to life and stop taking things so seriously, and then
And yourself.
yeah, you dissolve the fear away and
Yeah.
you make it fun. You see these satans that come into your life, these aggressors or adversaries that come against you as secret shoppers, and you handle them much differently when you
Yeah.
see them for what they are,
Yeah.
they're there to trigger you. Are you going to let them trigger you where you lose that round of the game, or are you going to be able to overcome that? So I think the analogy of viewing life like a game is, at least for me, it's real helpful because it allows me to see things much differently, where I can respond in love and say, not today. You're not gonna pee in my cornflakes today, buddy. You know
No,
what I mean?
no,
So,
because my bowl is full of joy, bliss, abundance, and love.
right.
That's my bowl of cereal every day.
Yeah.
Right. And it's your choice. It's your choice too. And not to say, listen, part of this process is we go through that dark night, and so many of us have lost so many things, but know that even if you're at that point, so it takes losing it all to realize that you already had it all.
Yeah.
Right? Just like Dorothy, you had the shoes on you the whole time. So that's all that it is. And just let it, yeah, again, it's releasing in order to receive. So there is never truly a loss of anything. That's always just growth. It's, just perspective. And with the way time goes so fast, these days, and is such a,
Halloween tomorrow again already.
yeah, I'm
Christmas
hoping.
just around the corner again already. It seems like, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I would love to do. I had somebody mention to me too, just doing a prayer at the near the end of our show today, just to keep all the children safe over Halloween
Good
season.
idea.
Regular kids and the kids caught up in, we can just set that intention, because that awareness of energy points is a powerful tool for us to combat the dark, and we can use that energy. Just taking a moment to keep all children safe over what is a very fun time for them. And
I agree. Yeah.
so I had somebody suggest that, and I'm glad I just remembered. So
I'm glad you remember too. We're actually at the hour mark, so if you want to do it, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, guys, I haven't done this with you in a little while.
Yeah, because we want our kids protected, and we can all combine our power of intention to surround them with protection and
Yes.
love light and keep the creeps away from them. And
Yeah. And
it's like almost like I started it already.
there, please continue. Please continue.
No.
I'm with you. Yeah, I just want to project the knowledge that anybody with ill intent at this time no longer has a foundation of strength to do their work from. So to us to take a moment of that crumbling, accelerated crumbling of their foundation, so that nothing they can intend can bear any kind of fruit for them. And just sealing in the joy that children have at this time of year isn't about worshiping dark things or awareness even dark things. For children, it's about the possibility of them for one day being anything that they can imagine, and being anything that they can create, understanding that anything is possible. So for a 5-year-old that children have at
Whoops. Sorry.
that's okay.
Had a window open with you talking delayed. Okay.
That's okay. Let's all be that 5-year-old child that puts on his Superman costume, and for that one day believes he can really fly, because everybody around him is going, "Look at you with your cape." So it's a fantastic energy for this time of year. I really want to focus on growing that joy for children to safely experience their creativity and their imagination. It really is a day for imagination warriors, I think, Halloween, because they can really create and be whoever it is, whatever superhero, whatever it is they want to experience in safety and love and appreciation for their experience that day. So, and let's keep their little teeth safe too.
Definitely.
I love children, and it's just wrap that love all around them. They are our little light.
Very good point, Frank. No FFs on. It's just protect everyone on that day.
You know what? Let's just set that, and that's, you know, nothing can bear fruit, right? Just picture that foundation that they stand. Just picture that crumbling, cracking cement. Hear the sounds of the rocks breaking beneath their feet and crumbling away and falling into the abyss, because it can no longer stand in this. So they cannot, touch the children anymore or affect them, and let that be a child's experience only about the joy of creating their experience in the magic of imagination for a day. Yeah, it's a special time, and I think that with the, we all know it's the veil thins. I think we've got some good cracks in there. Could this be the energy that will really be pivotal in crumbling a complete crumbling of the facade?
Yeah.
As thinned. Well, this is a thinning time. At one point, it will be so thin it will crack right open.
Yeah, the apocalypse, as they say. When you look at the true meaning, it's the revelation. It's the seeing through the veil. Even that they've turned into this idea of the world coming to this fiery end when you hear the word apocalypse. But because yeah, exactly, for them.
Sorry about your luck.
Right. That's a good point. It is the end of yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, because this gets back to this whole idea of perspective. It's the end of the world for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but let Jesus be walking with each and every single child that is out tomorrow, and there to have fun and just enjoy the magic of childhood. So, I know that Jesus will walk with each one of those children as he walks with us, but just to put the picture in there.
Yeah. Jesus and thousands of angels surrounding the children.
You just make it be so. Make it so.
Amen. And of course, we have to be vigilant ourselves, keep an eye out for the kids, careful driving around. And
it's important to be aware and to be all watching, because as we see the truth, so quickly now, we've seen that evidenced in the news a couple times, this week, with a couple suspicious packages.
Suspicious packages.
Yeah. So we've seen, the truth now evidence in a couple things. I won't get into details. I can do a video about it. If you guys want to see me do a video about it, I'll do a video about it. But when you start seeing with the eyes of truth, it's the illusions become so funny. It's just, it is. But we know if one doesn't work, they'll try something else. So just be aware again of triggers. They want to make you jump. So. But we have the strength, and we're coming from awake eyes right now that see the games and see the crumbling foundation. Yeah. Be the imagination warrior, all of you, please, over the next couple days, because it really is a very powerful time to use that energy to our benefit.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it for a while, but we can take hold of it now in ways that I think are going to really uncover the magic that's coming up in the first week of November. However that's going to play out.
Yeah.
This is key. I think this is, again, it's that door. There's a lot going in the door. And I don't think after tomorrow, after the end of the month with the veil thinning so much, I don't think they're ever going to be able you're not going to, once that door's open, that's it. It like the door is gone. And it really is open it to, there's no going back. There's no shutting the door again, I think. And that's it. So we'll see. Conversation we're going to have next Tuesday, I think is going to be
Definitely interesting. It's always interesting, though.
It always is, eh? We always say that,
Every now is a special moment. And so I do have your email on the screen, wolf.art101@gmail.com.
Yeah,
So,
and guys, check me out. I do sessions as well to work with this energy. We're all at different stages of this game. I do tarot, but it's absolutely not necessary to this process. I've certainly developed far beyond it myself. I find I can see the tarot cards before I pull them, so it's almost redundant at this point. But if that's something you enjoy, it's certainly something to do. But looking through the exploration of dream work and analysis, or looking at all the different situations for where your path is at this time, and if you would like any direction, with that. Intuitively, and sensing energy blockages and different things, I'm here to help with that, and I would love your support too. So you can send me an email if you'd like to set up a session. Please do. You can also send me your dreams. Your emails of your dreams are appreciated. I've started putting that together. Unfortunately, I was going to do it on the weekend, but the energy, the way it was, took a very big physical toll on me, so I played it pretty low key over the last few days. Fortunately, it's coming. I'm coming back to myself again today. I think I'm feeling that energy coming back.
You were purging, right?
Oh yeah, and just like I feel it in my bones. My bones were hurting. The joints were hurting. It was, but I knew it was gonna. I knew that was the way it was gonna be, and I was prepared to do it, and just played low key for a bit. But I got one of my sky videos out. I'd been meaning to do that. I've been taking pictures from October for. So the other one next is my dreams I received from people. So I do have a couple interviews coming up as well too, that I'm going to have some people on with some really interesting topics, gematria, some dream stories from people as well too. So keep sending them in, and yeah. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, and I do have Michelle's link to her channel down below, so you can go over and check out her channel and be subscribed and ready for when that information comes out. And we'll be back next Tuesday, right?
Well, of course. Yeah. And I don't know if you know, I met up with Angel again from
Mile High Podcast, or actually changed it, didn't he, to expand your.
I wanted to mention that for him. And as well, if you guys are subscribed to him already, just know that he can no longer do live streams on his Expand Your Thinking channel. They banned him. They blocked him.
So, what did he do? Something he played?
Probably copyright. He loves to play his music. But
yeah, I went back and because the way Dan got banned, he can't do live streams as well. Dan from Talk is Cheap.
Really?
No live streams.
I always get so much interference and buffering problems. It's really frustrating. Like I really want to be able to do them, like we do, and have the chats. I experience so many problems with it. Just that it's pretty frustrating. So
what I was going
to pre-recording interviews I might be doing just for the quality,
right,
and everything, so people aren't getting the choppy buffering experience that happens so often. But but yeah, just so you know about Angel, had a blast over there in the chat. Must have been over there for about 4 hours with him chatting with everybody. So he does a lot of live chats that are great for our group to go in and hang out and talk to other people in this process too.
Did he start a backup channel to do live streams now?
Yeah, he did. I think it's 0.0. I just, if you know about it, his last video on that channel, he let you know there's a link there.
Okay.
You can go do that, but just to let you guys know, because he's a lot of fun. That group's a lot of fun. If you need a good charge up, it's not all about JFK stuff. It's just about having fun and being excited about the time that we're in. So
awesome. Excellent.
I'll be back on soon.
Well, lots of love and light to everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming on, Michelle, and we'll see you
Always.
next week. Peace,
Always.
everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.